today's topic is second chapter of class 8th history, from trade to territory. Now before going to the chapter in detail, let us know what this chapter contains. As the name of the chapter is from trade to territory, this chapter speaks about expansion of power of British Company, which was initially a trader. From being trader, it became the ruler. How it was possible? What opportunity they got in India to extend their power? What policies they followed to establish their empire, etc. This is our main topic here. Now let us go in detail. See here, introduction to the important historical characters. Hi friends, I am Aurangzeb. I am the last Mughal emperor. Now, hi friends, I am Vasco da Gama. I am Portuguese explorer who discovered the sea route to India. Here, Aurangzeb, the last Mughal emperor. Aurangzeb was the last of the Mughal rulers. He established control over a very large part of the territory that is now known as India. After his death in 1707, many Mughal governors and big zamindars began asserting their authority and establishing regional kingdoms. As powerful regional kingdoms emerged in various parts of India, Delhi could no longer function as an effective center. By the second half of the 18th century, however, a new power was emerging on the political horizon, the British. Here let me tell you, the Britishers established their East India Company in 1600 AD. They took permission from Queen Elizabeth I, and they formed the East India Company and came to trade in India. By that time Mughal rulers were there. As Mughal rulers were very powerful, they could not expand their empire here. Even they did not have their intention to expand their territory here. But as the time passed, they thought of doing this. What happens now? Yeah, this is East India Company comes east. In 1600, the East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England, Queen Elizabeth I, granting it the sole right to trade with the East. Sole right, monopoly right. No other company. As we are having Birla, Tata, suppose only one company will get permission to trade. So that was East India Company only got the permission to trade solely in India. This meant that no other trading group in England could compete with East India Company. Mercantile trading companies in those days made profit primarily by excluding competition so that they could buy cheap and sell dear. Mercantile means trading enterprise. Factory बनाने होता है, the trading enterprise is known as marketing. The first English ship sailed down the west coast of Africa round the Cape of Good Hope and crossed the Indian. Here you can see the route by Cape of Good Hope, by passing that they came to India. It was Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer, who had discovered the sea route to India in 1498. East India Company begins trade in Bengal. The first English factory was set near the banks of river Hooghly in 1651. It was base from which the company traders, known at that time as the factors. Factory means you can say trading center for them. The factory had a warehouse where the goods for export were stored, and it had offices where company officials sat. The goods from different parts of India the Indian boats, they used to bring the goods and unload it here, and in warehouse the goods were being stored. Then when it will be more, then they will take those goods through the ship to England. That was factory. By 1696, it began to build forts around the settlements. Now, white settlements, when more people needed, now Britishers, they started residing there. They started developing settlements. Those were by that time known as white settlements. And for protection, as the kings, they used to build fort. As in our home, yeah, in your school you will find the school boundary wall is there for the protection. So they used to construct large walls, yeah, that is called fort, for the protection of outsider. They used to construct fort. 2 years later, it bribed Mughal officials into giving the company Jamindari right over 3 villages. One of these was Kalikata, which grew later Calcutta, or now it is known as Kolkata. When they came there, when during Aurangzeb, the East India Company also persuaded the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to issue a farman granting the company the right to trade. The farman means the order of the royal order of the king. The farman granted the company the right to trade duty free, but the officials were asked to pay duty on private trade. Duty means tax here. Duty free, matlab without paying tax, without paying anything, any money, the free trade, you can say. They got the power from Aurangzeb in a farman. Aurangzeb gave the royal order that these people, this company can do trade without paying anything. But their officials, private officials, were not allowed to do. Whereas these private officials also wanted free trade, which was not being granted by that time. Now here we will see how trade led to battles. The early 18th century, the conflicts between the company and the Nawabs of Bengal intensified. Here you can see the Nawab of Bengal. He was Murshid Quli Khan, then Alivardi Khan, then Sirajuddaulah. All those 3 Nawab of Bengal, they were very strong enough and they were independent. After the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawabs asserted their power and autonomy as other regional power were doing that time. Murshid Quli Khan was followed by Alivardi Khan and then Sirajuddaulah as the Nawab of Bengal. Each one of them was strong ruler. So when they were very strong enough, definitely they were not supposed to grant concession to those British company. So that will be the main point of conflicts. The Nawabs refused to grant the company concessions. कंपनी कॉन्सेशन में जो सुविधाएं ट्रेडिंग के टाइम में जो सुविधाएं उनको मिलता था, अब ये मना कर देंगे. डिमांड ऑफ लार्ज ट्रिब्यूट फॉर एंड द डिमांडेड लार्ज ट्रिब्यूट फॉर द कंपनीज राइट टू ट्रेड. कंपनी जो ट्रेड करेगा उसके लिए वो ट्रिब्यूट मांगने लगे. डिनाइड इट एनी राइट टू मिंट कॉइन्स. ये कॉइन प्राइवेट जो मिंट करेगा दैट ऑल्सो वाज डिनाइड. नहीं, कंपनी कॉइन भी प्रिंट नहीं कर सकता है. एंड स्टॉप्ड इट फ्रॉम एक्सटेंडिंग इट्स फोर्टिफिकेशंस. कंपनी जो फोर्टिफिकेशंस कर रहा था, फोर्ट बना रहा था, उस फोर्टिफिकेशंस को भी रेस्ट्रिक्शंस लगाए. द कंपनी वाज आल्सो कन्विंस्ड दैट टू एक्सपांड ट्रेड इट हैड टू एनलार्ज इट्स सेटलमेंट एंड बाय अ विलेजेस एंड रीबिल्डिंग फोर्ट्स. इधर कंपनी क्या सोच रहा था कि अगर उनका ट्रेड एक्सपांड करना है तो उसको ड्यूटी फ्री ट्रेड करना है. अपने जो ज़मींदारों से विलेजेस खरीद रहा था उसको भी खरीदना चाहिए, बाई ऑफ द विलेजेस. एंड रीबिल्डिंग फोर्ट्स को उनको बनाना है, रीबिल्ड करना है, मतलब फोर्ट्स बनाना है. ये जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स हुआ इन दोनों के बीच में, दिस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स लेड टू फेमस बैटल ऑफ प्लासी. एक्चुअली दैट वाज ड्यूरिंग द सिराजुद्दौला. विल कम टू दैट पॉइंट. तो सिराजुद्दौला ही मना करेंगे. हियर द पिक्चर ऑफ द बैटल ऑफ प्लासी, यू कैन सी. हियर इट इज. नाउ यू कैन सी बैटल ऑफ प्लासी. After the death of Ali Bardi Khan, Sirajuddaulah became the Nawab of Bengal. The company was worried about his power and kept on a puppet ruler who would willingly give trade concession and other privileges. Puppet ruler मतलब as the puppet used to dance, जो dance कराएगा कठपुतली, तो कठपुतली बन के रहे वो रूलर जो होंगे बंगाल में, और जैसे ब्रिटिश कंपनी नचाएगा ऐसे नाचेंगे. They wanted, which was not possible. सिराजुद्दौला बिल्कुल कठपुतली बनने नहीं चाहे. ही वॉज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग रूलर. तो एन इन्फ्यूरिएटेड सिराजुद्दौला आस्क्ड द कंपनी टू स्टॉप meddling इन द पॉलिटिकल अफेयर्स ऑफ हिज डोमिनेशन. और बंगाल में उनकी डोमिनेशन में ये अपना पॉलिटिकल इंटरफेरेंस ना करें, वो वार्निंग दिए, मना किए. स्टॉप फोर्टिफिकेशन एंड पे द रेवेन्यूज़. मतलब फोर्टिफिकेशन स्टॉप करने के लिए बोल दिया, एंड पे द रेवेन्यूज. आफ्टर नेगोशिएशंस फेल्ड, द नवाब सेंड 30,000 soldiers to the British English factory, captured the English official, locked the warehouse and blocked the English ships. So this was Battle of Plassey. The name of the war in the name of the place, Plassey near, वहीं पे ही लड़ाई हुआ था. The British army was vastly outnumbered, consisting of 800 Europeans. Sorry, the British army was vastly outnumbered, consisting of 800 Europeans and 2,200 Indians. The Nawab had an army of about 50,000. इनके सोल्जर्स ज़्यादा थे, बट फिर भी इनकी डिफीट होगा. द ब्रिटिश जनरल रॉबर्ट क्लाइव ब्राइब द नवाब्स अंकल एंड चीफ ऑफ आर्मी मीर जाफर, हु कंट्रोल द आर्टिलरी एंड मार्च ऑफ द आर्मी. ही वॉज कमांडर ऑन चीफ. उनको ब्राइब किए, मतलब ही प्रॉमिस कि सिराजुद्दौला का अगर हरा देंगे, इफ सिराजुद्दौला विल बी डिफीटेड एंड क्रस्ड, then you will be the ruler, you will be the Nawab. And with this temptation, मिर्ज़ापुर क्या करेगा, खड़ा रहेगा, आर्मी को पूरा स्टैंड बाय करके रखेगा, लड़ाई ठीक से नहीं करेगा. The result was that सिराजुद्दौला was deserted by the best troops in his army. उनको हेल्प नहीं करेंगे. कमांडर इन चीफ, अगर क्रेडिट एंड डिस्क्रेडिट ऑफ द वार गोज टू कमांडर इन चीफ. अगर कमांडर इन चीफ ही ऑर्डर नहीं देगा, आर्मी फाइट करने नहीं आएंगे. तो अल्टीमेटली सिराजुद्दौला was deserted by the best troops in his army, and the British easily defeated those who remained loyal. The Battle of Plassey took place on June 23rd, 1757. The Battle of Plassey is considered to be the start of British rule in India. When we are being asked British rule in India कब से होता है, तो हम कहते हैं 1757 till 1947, near around 200 years, मतलब 190 years. Yeah, did you know? Battle of Plassey was the most decisive war that marked the initiation of British rule in India for the next 2 centuries. Battle of Plassey or Plassey took place between British East India Company and Nawabs of Bengal and his French allies. नवाब ऑफ बंगाल का फ्रेंच एलिज भी थे. द बैटल occurred on 23rd June 1757 at Plassey of Murshidabad district in Bengal, on the bank of Bhagirathi river. Murshidabad, Sirajuddaulah. The army commander Mirzafar of Sirajuddaullah's side betrayed in the Battle of Plassey, and thereby the whole force of Nawab collapsed, and as a consequence the entire province of Bengal came under British. The Battle of Plassey, also named Battle of Plassey. We in our area used to say read Battle of Plassey. Now the company officials become nabus. They will try to behave themselves as nawabs. Unka chal dhal, when they will reach there in England also, they will call themselves nababs. After the Battle of Plassey, the actual Nawabs of Bengal were forced to give land and vast sums of money as personal gift to the company officials. Robert Clive himself amassed a fortune in India. He came to Madras at the age of 18. When he left India, his Indian fortune was worth 4,01,102 pounds. When he was appointed as the governor of Bengal in 1764, he was asked to remove corruption in company administration, but he was himself cross-examined in 1772 there in London and by the British Parliament, which was suspicious of vast wealth. ये इतना सारा wealth कहाँ से लाया करके उनके against में चला examination enquiries. So ultimately, although he was acquitted, he committed suicide in 1775. Here let me tell you, 1764 जो है, here another war was there, that is Battle of Buxar. Here the army of Mughal Emperor Shah Alam and the army of Awadh Nawab Sujaudullah. बंगाल नवाब हुआ सिराजुद्दौला, ये अवध का नवाब सुजाउद्दौला एंड मीर कासिम. लेट मी टेल यू, जब मिर्ज़ाफर भी नहीं चाहेंगे, मिर्ज़ाफर ऑल्सो डिडंट वांट, ही वांटेड टू बी इंडिपेंडेंट. नाउ ब्रिटिशर्स अगेन आफ्टर सिराजुद्दौला, ब्रिटिशर्स मेड मिर्ज़ाफर द नवाब. व्हेन ही वांटेड टू बी इंडिपेंडेंट, नाउ दे British company dethroned Mirzapur and they made Mir Qasim, his son-in-law, as the Nawab. Even Mir Qasim was more independent than Mirzapur. He also didn't want to be a puppet in the hand of British company. So he was also defeated, and when he defeated, he took help in the Shah Alam and Sujaudullah. These three army combiningly they fought against British company and they got defeated. So this 1764, the Battle of Buxar was more important than Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey, betrayal was there of Mirzapur, but here now the British confidence was increased because British could know with a small British army they can defeat a large Indian army, and that was Shah Alam was the Nawab, the emperor of Delhi. Till now we saw that the British company they followed the policy of war. They raised the war, Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, they raised the war and they established their power. Now Shah Alam, the emperor of Mughal emperor, he gave the British company the right of Diwani, मतलब to collect tax in Bengal. तो बंगाल में कहते हैं dual administration हुआ. One side collection of revenue was in the hand of that is British company, and administration part so to maintain law and order that was with the Nawab. तो पावर तो मनी जिसके पास है उसके पास रहा, तो इट विल अच्छा खासा फेलियर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होगा एंड कंपनी मालामाल हो जाएगा. नाउ दे नीड नॉट import gold and silver coin from इंग्लैंड. उनको इंग्लैंड से पैसा लाना नहीं पड़ा. यहीं पे जो रेवेन्यू ये कलेक्ट करेंगे विद दैट रेवेन्यू ओनली दे विल बाय द गुड्स हियर. तो उनका सेविंग हो जाएगा, आउटफ्लो ऑफ गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर बच जाएगा उनके लिए. तो ब्रिटिश कंपनी नाउ अगेन that is one policy was warfare policy. Now we got another new policy that was called subsidiary alliance, Sahayata Sandhi. सहायता मतलब सहाय करना, हेल्प करना। ये देखें इंडिया में जो कॉन्टेस्ट में इंडिया वॉज डिवाइडेड इनटू स्मॉल किंगडम्स, देयर आर मेनी रूलर्स, ईच रूलर वांटेड टू बी मोर पावरफुल देन अदर्स। So in that case they saw that all rulers, they observed that British company now become more powerful. In that case if they will get help from the British company, it will be an advantage for them. तो ब्रिटिश कंपनी उसका मौका लेके स्पेसिफिकली दे एडॉप्टेड सब्सिडियरी अलायंस करना चाहेंगे विद द रूलर्स, किसी किसी को फोर्स भी करेंगे, दे एडॉप्ट सब्सिडियरी अलायंस। और ये थे द डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ सब्सिडियरी अलायंस वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय रिचर्ड वेल्सली, ब्रिटिश गवर्नर जनरल इन इंडिया, who ruled till it was 1798 to 1805. Early in his governorship, Wellesley adopted a policy of non-intervention in the princely states, but he later adopted the policy of forming subsidiary alliance. पहले इंटरफेयर नहीं करेंगे, पॉलिसी फॉलो करेंगे, लेकिन वही पॉलिसी फॉलो किए, सब्सिडियरी अलायंस। द पॉलिसी वाज टू प्ले ए मेजर रोल इन ब्रिटिश एक्सपांसन इन इंडिया। दैट इज द वन ऑफ द मेजर पॉलिसी। जितने सारा एक्सपांसन होगा बिसाइड्स वार, नाउ द इंडियन रूलर्स दे विल फॉलो सब्सिडियरी, दे विल हैव एन अलायंस विद द ब्रिटिशर्स। अगर अलायंस होगा तो ब्रिटिशर्स उनको क्या करेंगे, दैट विल सी हाउ दे विल हेल्प देम। तो ये पॉलिसी थ्रू में वो अपना एक्सपांसन शुरू कर दिए। द मेन प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ ए सब्सिडियरी अलायंस, an Indian ruler entering into a subsidiary alliance with the British had to accept British forces within his territory and also agreed to pay for their maintenance। मतलब जो स्टेट्स, जो इंडियन रूलर सब्सिडियरी अलायंस करेंगे ब्रिटिश के साथ, दे कैन नॉट कीप देयर ओन आर्मी, क्योंकि वो अपना आर्मी रखेंगे तो स्ट्रांग हो जाएंगे। वो अपना आर्मी रखने का ज़रूरत नहीं है, ब्रिटिश आर्मी हेल्प करेगा। रेजिडेंट थ्रो में वो उनका खबर लेंगे। तो एंड दैट इज ब्रिटिश हैड टू एक्सेप्ट ब्रिटिश फोर्सेस, ब्रिटिश फोर्स रहेगा, और ये ब्रिटिश फोर्स का खर्चा कौन उठाएगा, इंडियन रूलर्स। द रूलर वुड एक्सेप्ट ब्रिटिश रेजिडेंट इन स्टेट, उनके स्टेट में एक ब्रिटिश रेजिडेंट रहेगा। एंड इंडियन रूलर हु एंटर्ड इनटू ए सब्सिडियरी अलायंस would not enter into any further alliance with any other power, nor would he declare war against any power without the permission of the British. The ruler would not employ any Europeans other than the British. There are other Europeans also. They cannot employ any Europeans other than the British, and if he were already doing so, he would dismiss them. In case of a conflict with any other state, he would agree the resolution decided upon by the British, and the British will help them in the war. लेकिन बात यहाँ पे क्या होगा ना, जो सोल्जर्स का खर्चा उठाएंगे, यही खर्चा जो उठाने के द इंडियन मोस्ट प्रोबेबली द इंडियन रूलर्स विल बी इनकेपेबल टू बियर द एक्सपेंडिचर। In that case, they have to give a part of their territory that is there. In case of a conflict with any other state, he would agree the resolution decided upon by the British. जो ब्रिटिश कहेगा उनको मानना है। In return for the ruler accepting its condition, the company undertook to protect the state from external dangers and internal disorders. अगर ये उनकी शर्तें मान लेंगे तो वो एक्सटर्नल कोई बाहरी कोई राजा उनको इन्वेट करता है तो ये ब्रिटिश आर्मी हेल्प करेगा। इफ़ द इंडियन रूलर्स फेल टू मेक द पेमेंट्स रिक्वायर्ड बाय द अलायंस, देन पार्ट ऑफ देयर टेरिटरी वाज टू बी टेकन अवे एज ए पेनल्टी। दिस इज द मोर इम्पोर्टेंस, यू सी दिस, नॉर्मली दैट वाज हैपनिंग। अगर वो खर्चा नहीं उठा पाएंगे तो उनका पार्ट ऑफ देयर टेरिटरी हो जाएगा। द नवाब ऑफ अवध एंड हैदराबाद द रूलर ऑफ हैदराबाद, उनके केस में यही हुआ. दे हैड टू शेड पार्ट करके शेड करके थोड़ा थोड़ा लेते रहेंगे. और कंपनी आर्मी क्या था? colonial rule in India brought in some new ideas of administration and reforms, but its power rested on its military strength. Traditional army, the Mughal army was mainly composed of cavalry. वो traditional army मुगल का cavalry मतलब घोड़सवारी, infantry पदातिक पैदल वाले. The rural areas had a large number of armed peasants and the local zamindars often supplied the Mughal with. ये हमारा traditional army. Professional soldiers. A change occurred in the 18th century when Mughal successor states like Awadh and Banaras started recruiting peasants into their armies and training them as professional soldiers. पहले peasants को ही ले जाते थे soldiers के हिसाब से many places में. The East India Company adopted the same method when it began recruitment for its own army, which came to be known as the Sepoy army, सिपाही जिसे हम कहेंगे. In the early 19th century, the British began to develop a uniform military culture. Soldiers were increasingly subjected to European styles. These are extra things given in India. The East India Company started as a trading company. To further its trading interest, the company started to interfere in local politics and later on to control of local administration. Through various social, political and administrative changes, the company took full control of about 63% of the Indian territory and 78% of the population. Remaining part was under indirect control of the East India. Another example we will see the warfare policy of the Britishers in Mysore. Tipu Sultan, the tiger of Mysore. Tipu Sultan, also known as the tiger of Mysore, was the ruler of the kingdom of Mysore from 1782 to 1799 and a scholar, soldier and poet. He was the son of Hyder Ali. The war started with Hyder Ali, continued by the Tipu Sultan. Tipu was the eldest son of Sultan Hyder Ali of Mysore and his wife Fatima Fakr Unnisa, a daughter of Mir Muinuddin, governor of Kadapa. Tipu promoted a more widespread use of Hindustani language in southern India. He introduced a number of administrative innovations, including the introduction of a new coinage, new Mauludi, lunisolar calendar, lunar calendar based on moon, and new land revenue system, and initiated the growth of Mysore silk industry. He expanded the iron cased Mysore rockets, which he deployed in his resistance against military advances of the British. He remained an implacable enemy of the British East India Company, bringing them into renewed conflicts with an attack on British allied Travancore, the capital it was, in 1789. Continuously, Hyder Ali also, they had the war, first and second Anglo-Mysore war. It was with Hyder Ali. In the third Anglo-Mysore war, third it is given, continue hoga, the war started with Hyder Ali. First and second war started with Hyder Ali. Tipu was forced into a humiliating treaty, losing a number of previously conquered territories, including Malabar and Mangalore. Malabar, Kerala coast, Kerala and Mangalore. In the fourth Anglo-Mysore war, the combined forces of the British East India Company and the Nizam of Hyderabad defeated Tipu, and he was killed on 4th May 1799 while defending his fort of Srirangapatnam. Here you will see Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali, both they were independent king. they were not coming under the subsidiary alliance of the British company. In that case, they have to crush. So in that case, they raised the war, and ultimately, after 4 wars, first Anglo-French, second Anglo-French, third Anglo-French, fourth Anglo-French, sorry, first Anglo-Mysore, second Anglo-Mysore, third Anglo-Mysore, fourth Anglo-Mysore. Anglo means English, Mysore, war. Ultimately, they got defeated, and that will be, the Mysore will be in the area of, including the area of British company. Another wars with Marathas. That time Marathas were also strong enough. The first Anglo-Maratha war, 1775-1782, was the first of 3 Anglo-Maratha wars fought between the British East India Company and Maratha Empire in India. The war began with the Treaty of Surat and ended with the Treaty of Saibai. The Battle of Delhi took place on 11 September 1803 during the Second Anglo-Maratha War between British troops under General Lake and Marathas of Scindia's army under General Louis Burgoyne. By that time, Marathas were divided into groups. Peshwa, Scindia, Holkar, like that 5 groups were there. The battle was fought at Patpargani, right across Yamuna river from Humayun's tomb, also giving the battle its local name. The third Anglo-Maratha war, there were 3 Anglo-Maratha war. The third Anglo-Maratha war was the final and decisive conflict between the British East India Company and the Maratha Empire in India. The war left the company in control of most of India. It began with an invasion of the Maratha territory. 1,10,400 British East India Company troops. So now Maratha were also powerful. For them also, they raised the warfare policy. Now, under Lord Hastings, Governor General from 1813 to 1823, a new policy of paramountcy was initiated. Now the company claimed that its authority was paramount or supreme, hence its power was greater than other states. क्योंकि काफ़ी area the Britishers could taken away. So area as they extended a large area, so they declare themselves paramountcy. They are the supreme. In order to protect its interest, it was justified in annexing or threatening to annex any Indian kingdom. This process, however, did not go unchallenged. ऐसे नहीं कि सभी सारे राजा मान लाएंगे, सारे rulers, but they did. For example, when British tried to annex a small state of Kittur, Rani Channamama took to arms and led an anti-British movement. She was arrested in 1824 and died in prison in 1829. But Rayana, a fort chowkidar of Sangoli in Kittur, carried on the resistance. With popular support, he destroyed many British camps and records. He was caught and hanged by the British in 1830. Whatever it is, Britishers were overpowered by the time. In the late 1830s, the company became worried about Russia. It imagined that Russia might expand across Asia and enter India from northwest. They fought a prolonged wars with Afghanistan between 1838 and 1842, and Sindh was taken in 1843. 2 prolonged wars were fought with Sikh kingdoms in 1849. Punjab was annexed. All these, we are noticing that they used the warfare policy and annexed many of the area. So another big diplomatic policy was doctrine of lapse, जिसके आगे चल के आपको 1857 रिवोल्ट होगा. This is one of the cause of this doctrine of lapse will be one of the cause of your 1857 revolt. What is that? The doctrine of lapse was an annexation policy purportedly devised by Lord Dalhousie. विलय नीति. According to the doctrine, any princely states or territory under the direct influence of the British East India Company as a vassal state under the British subsidiary system would automatically be annexed if the ruler was either manifestly incompetent or died without a direct heir. डायरेक्ट हेयर मतलब अगर वो इनकॉम्पिटेंट है उस ग्राउंड में कोई भी एरिया, कोई भी रूलर का कोई भी किंगडम ब्रिटिश कैन टेक, ब्रिटिश ले सकते हैं, अपने डायरेक्ट कंट्रोल में मिला सकते हैं अगर इनकॉम्पिटेंट है और डायरेक्ट विदाउट ए डायरेक्ट हेयर, मतलब उत्तराधिकारी नहीं होंगे. डायरेक्ट हेयर मीन्स अपने बेटा नहीं होगा तो. इफ़ ही वोंट हैव ए सन, डॉटर होने से नहीं होगा, बाय द टाइम उनके पास लड़का होना चाहिए. और यही जो झांसी रानी का नाम सुने होंगे, शी डिडंट हैव ए नेचुरल हेयर. नाना साहेब वाज द एडॉप्टेड सन, तो उनको एक्सेप्ट नहीं किए. तो ये दिस विल बी द कॉज ऑफ 1857 रिवोल्ट आगे. तो ये डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ लैप्स में झांसी का एरिया आ जाएगा. मैनी प्लेसेस विल कम अंडर दिस. दिस वॉज another policy, annexation policy followed by the Britishers. The doctrine of lapse was an annexation policy purportedly devised by Lord Dalhousie, who was the Governor General for the East India Company in India between 1848 and 1856. 1857 में रिवोल्ट होगा उसे अपोज करके. The letter supplanted the long established right of an Indian sovereign without an heir to choose a successor. उस समय में इंडियंस कुड एडॉप्ट ए सन इफ दे डोंट हैव द सन. अगर उनके पास लड़के नहीं होते तो एडॉप्ट करते थे, तो एडॉप्टेड सन का भी सेम राइट्स होता था. बट ब्रिटिशर्स रिफ्यूज टू गिव दैट राइट. द ब्रिटिश डिसाइडेड वेदर पोटेंशियल रूलर्स वेर कॉम्पिटेंट एनफ. द डॉक्ट्रिन एंड इट्स एप्लीकेशंस वर वाइडली रिगार्डेड बाय इंडियंस एज लेजिटिमेट. द कंपनी took over the princely states of Satara, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Nagpur, Jhansi, Tanjore, Arcot and Awadh with the reason that the ruler was not using this doctrine. तो ये डॉक्ट्रिन यूज़ नहीं कर रहे हैं करके वो उनको ले लेंगे वो एरिया. द कंपनी एडेड अबाउट 4 million pounds sterling to its annual revenue by the use of this doctrine. These are the maps, may not be clear, but here you will see these are the 1765 and 1805 दो मैप दिए गए हैं द ब्रिटिश एम्पायर. Now